Whew.
Hey,
I
safe.
just sat down like at the 5-second mark, like just with a fresh
Oh,
coffee.
I
That is
saw that.
wild.
That's great.
Thank
Good
you everybody
job.
for joining us. Welcome to the Living Well podcast. My name is Dr. Edward Perin. With me is my producer and lovely sidekick, Pablo Madrigal.
Hello.
So we are going to be talking about stress and maybe loneliness. It is holiday week. It is Thanksgiving. Very stressful time of year, and we are not terribly prepared for a podcast. So our lovely producer has put together and found some videos about stress and about loneliness, and hopefully we can fold that into the topic of
Well, I
Thanksgiving.
actually love how organic this happened, because we usually come in much better prepared with a topic and a bunch of different kind of, like, soft topics and sub lines to talk about. And today the whole scramble earlier the day was, oh my god, we're stressed because we don't know what we're gonna do with the show today. Well, how about let's talk about this.
Let's talk about
This
stress.
Why are we not ready for the podcast? Well, because we're stressed about work and we're stressed about life, and there's all these different stressors that are coming down on us, and it's just sometimes it's so hard to keep up and so hard to get ahead of the ball, right? It feels like the ball is on a downhill and you're way behind.
Well, that, and I have the confidence, some might even say delusion, that our best episodes are the ones that we're least prepared for. Our metrics support that, but that makes me think that this is going to be a great episode. So if you're watching, you're in for a treat. Stick around. You might learn something.
That's right. Yeah. Do you want to welcome us to the show?
Yeah. Was my intro not enough? Let's see. What? I feel like we're gonna hit on the obvious, like what is stressful around the holidays. I was actually joking with Pablo right before we started broadcasting that I have one of the best problems to have. A lot of people have invited me to celebrate Thanksgiving with them. like oh what a problem. So I'm so loved that I have to make an appearance here and there. My first one was actually this most recent Saturday.
High class problems, man.
But it is stressful. Yeah. I'm stressed out, not just because I might be spreading myself very thin, but also I work less during a holiday week. And not only am I passionate about my job, but if I ain't working, I ain't getting paid. So lots of reasons to be stressed. Also traveling, who's gonna watch my dog? Who's gonna keep an eye on my dog while I'm gallivanting around the state? So yeah, it's really funny that even under the best circumstances, even when we are about ready to spend time with people that we are close to and whom we love, we can be stressed out. Like, it can make us actually kind of panic a little bit.
That's right. Before we go any further, I do want to do the normal housekeeping announcements and remind everybody that we are recording and streaming live on X and on YouTube at Dr. Perin. That is Dr. DOCTORPERIN. Spelling bee.
There we go. Hey, English isn't your first language, although I forget this sometimes because you speak English better than most native speakers.
Here we go. If my spelling bee didn't work, here's the very nifty band at the bottom. Hey, there you go. Yep. And yes, ask us a question in chat. We actually had a great time last week. Lots of engagement, participation from our friends on X. Some questions coming out of YouTube. We're definitely getting a really good amount of engagement from all sides of the platform. I mean, of course, you you have a big platform already and a huge following on X on your
Yes,
own. So
if you're watching on X and you haven't followed me yet on YouTube, please follow me on YouTube. Help out the algorithm.
That's right. That's right. So yes, with this in mind, and we were talking about stress because we didn't know what to do today. I did remember that recently I was watching these videos because I'm just an absolute YouTube fiend.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever heard
The
of?
only thing I'm still subscribing to. I gave up Netflix ages ago.
Oh my god! Yeah, you can get anything you want on YouTube. Are you familiar with Kurzgesagt?
Commercials?
Yeah, no,
Sorry.
I pay for it. No commercials.
Sorry, I'm interrupting you.
Are you familiar with Kurzgesagt?
No, I have not. Is this the animator? Because I watched about a minute of each of the videos that you wanted to go through today.
It is the animator. I've been following them for many years. I am a huge fan. They are just very beautifully well put together and extremely well researched videos, all scientifically based and all kinds of stuff. They look at things from the cosmos and the stars and the universe and
Okay.
hypothetical, theoretical scenarios where humanity leaves the earth and becomes a star-faring civilization. But they also look at things at earth and climate and just our earth, not just looking outside, but then also the humans and human experiences. They explain everything from the human body and anatomy to our brain and how it works, and also just topics that are very relevant to today, inflation and how it happens and all these things. It's a great resource. I'm actually going to put it down on the on the band in just a little bit, because I absolutely encourage anybody that is listening to this podcast is clearly interested in science and in the human brain and the psyche to a certain degree. So anyone interested in this podcast will really get a kick out of Kurzgesagt. They're really great. Anyway,
Okay.
so Kurzgesagt, German.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't think I could spell that to save my life.
In a nutshell, it's what it means in German, and it's fantastic. But they made these two videos that I thought were very relevant to what we were talking about. So I'm actually gonna throw it here real quick. Kurzgesagt in a nutshell.
Well, let's just throw up the
let's
first
do it.
episode. Let's do the stress one and let's talk about it. If I want you to pause, I'll either start speaking or I'll give you the high sign. I'll tug on my earlobe.
I think you're gonna get a kick out of this. Here we go.
Stress is an ancient superpower that's slowly killing you. It evolved as one of the most powerful tools for survival, but has turned into a double-edged sword in the modern world. It grants your wish to rise to a gnarly challenge or to work harder, but claims a chunk of your life force.
Can we hear it? Can everybody hear it? Sorry, I don't.
I'm already laughing because it's very popular to refer to our central nervous system or some of our central nervous system responses as a superpower. I used to roll my eyes at it because it's well within human limits, but then I realized if this analogy works, let's roll with it. And so at the Illinois Masonic Mental Health Institute in Chicago, I actually created a Spider-Man, like a superhero group where we would actually call it Spider Senses. And we would use that as kind of a metaphor for that central nervous system. But I'm sure they're going to go into more details as to why and what it actually does to your muscles and to your blood system. But I do laugh that they call it a superpower.
Well, it can be.
Well, I mean, it's we all can do it. It's actually quite human.
In return, unless you learn how to use it right. What is stress? Why is it harmful? And what can you do to escape its consequences? All living things strive for homeostasis, a state where their body is in balance. To maintain this balance, they make adjustments like moving into the sunlight or eating nutrients. But the world is a cruel place with death lurking behind every corner, and organisms need a way to react to extreme situations. This is how stress evolved, as a physical response to a stressor, which is anything challenging or dangerous. Stress is a very fast, drastic change of the state of the body that prioritizes survival. An emergency program that lets the organism push way out of its comfort zone to survive. To understand how stress works in humans, let's visit a scene 50,000 years ago.
Well, can you pause it for a second? Because he's really stretching the definition of stress to really what we would be calling the fight or flight response, or our central nervous system response. That's kind of an extreme example. When something changes very suddenly, we're more likely to notice it. So like if you get adrenaline pumping through your system and you get keyed up really quickly, you're going to notice that spike.
Mm-hmm.
Versus you're getting a little bit more stressed over time. Sort of the boiling the frog metaphor, where you just slowly increase the temperature by like 1 degree over time. You can still get stressed that way and you're not going to notice it. And that's when people like poke you on the shoulder and be like, "Hey, are you okay?" "I'm fine. I'm fine. Why? Do I look stressed to you?" And you're like,
"I look not okay."
Right. So there is kind of an extreme version of that, but stress can be kind of subtle. Stress can be very small pressure, and I don't know. I'll say more of it probably throughout the video. Sorry about that.
No. That's why we view this, so you can add your commentary. That's literally what we're doing.
We want you to interrupt the video.
Whoa, hello.
The superpower awakens. A group of early Homo sapiens are huddled around a fire when suddenly a desperate and starving saber-toothed tiger attacks their camp. Their leader, the bear smasher, jumps up as time slows down. His brain classifies the tiger as a critical stressor and unleashes the stress response. Adrenal glands pump out adrenaline.
Yeah, the stress response. That's what I mean. Like that. So like it's the difference between stress and the stress response. There's actually a wide range of stress. There's even a very helpful one right before like you're getting the adrenal glands dumping adrenaline into your system. What we would call eustress, which is a good amount of stress. It just pressures us to move a little bit more. I also laugh that he uses the caveman example, because I use that for how this has evolved over generations and generations and generations. Imagine there's someone at the camp when the saber-toothed tiger jumps out and he's going, "It's probably nothing. I can keep napping." Who's more likely to live and procreate and produce offspring? Probably that bear smasher guy. So this has evolved. We have evolved this over at least 200 generations. It is a very acute alarm system.
Spoilers.
Oh, sorry, I haven't watched too far into the video. This is farther than I've watched.
Earth's body activating fight or flight mode. His heart starts beating faster and his lungs accelerate, providing an emergency supply of nutrients and oxygen to all critical systems. Adrenaline dictates that his muscles have energy priority over his other organs and activates them for rapid action. Their strength and speed are ramped up. Pain and fatigue signals are muted while his senses become super sharp and lock in on the threat. Perceives every detail with maximum clarity and realizes the tiger is getting ready to pounce. There's only a split second to react.
Because they really glazed over a very important feature of this. Because it's like, oh yeah, all the important systems keep working. Oh, some of the other organs just not blah blah. It's your digestive system. What he's talking about is what hunters would affectionately refer to as from anus to appetite. Your entire digestive system, from you can get dry mouth, you can get diarrhea, you can get stomach cramps. The reason why stress is so what we would call have a psychosomatic response to our digestive system is exactly what they're describing. when adrenaline is going through our system, when we're actually having the stress response, the blood flow is going to our muscles. We're getting that binocular vision, but we're actually shutting down a lot of the functions of our digestive system. If you've eaten breakfast or lunch within like an hour of becoming stressed, your body's going to say, we don't need this to fight the saber-toothed tiger. So like, let's stop digesting this food. And so some people will get acid reflux, or they'll start burping, and they'll go, oh, I have this debilitating thing. It's actually this very specific system. And again, they're doing the evolutionary psychology of the caveman and the saber-toothed tiger. What stresses us out is like responding to an email. So, you're probably within safe parameters at your office or within your own home, and this is going on. Your organs are not going to be functioning appropriately because of this stress response. But that might be spoilers for later on.
Yeah, hold that thought. I think that's definitely something that may or may not.
He glazed over the organ part. The organ part, I think, is very important because a lot of people who suffer from chronic stress have some digestive issue, and they haven't made that direct connection to, oh, maybe the reason I have this is because I have adrenaline going through my system, and my digestive tract isn't necessary for fighting bears and saber-toothed tigers.
Adrenaline forces to make a quick, impulsive decision. Without thinking about it, he chooses to fight and attacks with full force. But the battle is long and arduous. The animal is desperate and will not back down. Our humans risk exhaustion. A new hormone joins the battle, cortisol. Cortisol is the slower, more strategic hormone that manages a longer stress response. It orders a total shift of all body systems, ramping up the fuel supply when we wake up in the morning. All non-essential functions like resting, disease defense, or digestion. His body isn't his own anymore, it belongs to stress. Finally, the bear smasher deals the killing blow. The tribe gathers in celebration. Their bodies shut down fight or flight and activate rest and digest. Wounds begin to hurt and muscles cry in exhaustion. It's time to recover and heal, bond, and tell stories about how they killed the angry tiger god.
Also activates
Some
this
fall asleep.
central nervous system response.
Others
You'd think it would activate the other one, but it activates this one.
What does?
An orgasm.
Oh, interesting.
It sends a signal to your brain that the threat is over because you're probably not mating in the middle of an emergency.
Interesting.
The tribe relaxes and homeostasis is being restored. These people are your ancestors. When did this amazing superpower turn into a curse?
200 generations.
The deadly email.
Approximately.
There you go.
Our world has changed so quickly and profoundly that our biology couldn't keep up. Stress is still the same it was 50,000 years ago. Sense a stressor. React.
The 50,000 years ago is relevant. The 200 generation thing is relevant. But what is most relevant is how much has changed since the Industrial Revolution, which was in the 1800s. Really, that is within like our grandparents' living memory. Like the people could probably told stories to our grandparents about the Industrial Revolution because they lived through it. It is still that close within. If you were to look at the entirety of human evolution on a clock, the Industrial Revolution just happened like a minute ago.
Mm-hmm.
So our alarm system, this very comprehensive alarm system that this person is describing, evolved for so long to a pre-industrial revolution society where we did have to hunt for our food or we had to lean on our communities for resources. So when he asks the rhetorical question, when did it become a curse? The accurate answer is when life became, quote, when essentially poverty rates throughout the entire world were almost eliminated overnight through globalization and the Industrial Revolution. In the United States, that's still within 200 years, like drop in the bucket. So yeah, we are what stresses us out today is not what stressed out this caveman.
Yeah, curious about what happened in the middle. The Greeks, the Greeks, the Romans.
Oh,
you know, well, in the Middle Ages, the plague, but
throughout, even throughout most of what we would have considered what the common era at the last 2,000 years, we did not really live that long. 30 more people were making it to 30, but there's a lot of war. You never really moved. You probably didn't travel very far outside the town in which you were born. It was still kind of brutal. So like there were still winters that could kill people, depending on where you are in the world. Southeast Asia, Burma or Myanmar, I think, is a really great example. They have really bad tsunami weather. Like they have big hurricanes, and culturally they build very flimsy houses because they sort of lean into it. Just let them destroy everything, and then we'll just build it again overnight. It really wasn't until the Industrial Revolution that our lifespan increased, our population exploded. Healthcare, I say in quotes because the healthcare was still fairly barbaric in the 1800s, but suddenly survival went up. Childbirth, like people were more likely to survive childbirth. So like that was the bottleneck. Like until the Industrial Revolution, or after the Industrial Revolution, it like everything just exploded. Life became comparably easier, but our subjective experience did not change. This alarm system is wired to be as distressing, even though we could go to McDonald's and meet all of our caloric needs for the next 24 hours.
Yeah, I'll blame it on Queen Victoria.
Well, you can blame a lot on Queen Victoria and her children.
And with full force, prioritize present moment survival, make sacrifices if necessary. That works well when you have to jump out of the way of a car. But most stressors we encounter nowadays are abstract, acute, and more numerous. Often intangible, persist for much longer, and usually don't even require physical action. The tigers of the past are now angry emails, deadlines, online dating, rush hour traffic, or
and we're not running, we're sitting in our chairs. So like that adrenaline, which is it's energy, like it's pumping energy to our muscles. It's giving us what we would call an action hunger, or an urge, or an impulse. We're sometimes lying in bed or on our couch or in our chairs going, oh no, and then we're just panicking.
Yeah,
if we actually went for a run, we would break down adrenaline. Adrenaline and cortisol can be broken down through movement. You do some jumping jacks, you do some push-ups, you do some running. I believe cortisol can even break down into testosterone, but talk to somebody who is a better genius in the biochemistry part of this. I'm an expert of the mind, less so the brain. I've dissected one once.
I mean, I tell you, if running away like this little dude from your emails and your bills was effective, I'm sure the entire world would be super fit.
well, it doesn't make the bills get paid and the emails get written and responded to, but you feel a lot better.
Just keep running.
Important. Yeah, like you do. You feel.
Stop running.
There's a sentiment that I can really connect to, which is I'm anxious. Let me write a list of all the things that I need to do, and now I feel better. But now I don't feel anxious enough to get up and start doing anything on this to-do list. Anyway, yeah, no, the movement is actually really great for stress. I highly recommend it. It doesn't make the problems go away, but it does break down the chemicals, these chemicals that he described. It breaks them down, and we can metabolize them. We can use them more effectively. Going to the gym, running, again, sex, eating too within reason. I don't want to recommend it because the stuff that works is
stress eating.
Yeah, it's not the kind of food. The stuff that actually makes you feel better, that subjective experience of stress, is not the food that I actually want to be recommending to people. Ice cream and cheeseburgers, but
Yeah, I don't know very many people that stress eat broccoli and
yeah,
and lean protein.
It just doesn't do the same. You need, I think you need
hit the same way.
Well, fat and salt. If you do want to hack the system, sometimes you can get like a seasoning like salt, pepper, garlic. And if you microwave, just boil some water and you put some of that in there, your body is going to respond to the temperature and to the savoriness and to the salt, and it's going to give you the sensation of comfort, like you're being held and you're getting a chicken noodle soup from your mom on a sick day, right? It gives you, it's entirely a placebo. You are not actually getting high fat content and calories, but it can signal that part of the brain. You really have to think about it like a light switch. You're either stressed or relaxed. You cannot be stressed and relaxed at the same time. So there are different modes, there are different signals, but it's going through your central nervous system. It's going up your brain, your spine into your brain, and it's either telling you get ready or threat is over. You get.
So is that an effective strategy for immediate stress relief, is to get a little bit of like a placebo thing let's say when you identify that you're feeling just almost cripplingly stressed, like, okay, I'm gonna have a little bit of I don't know, like
I'm gonna have a little
noodle, like a noodle with butter and some of my favorite seasoning.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, it's not gonna cure it, or it's not gonna get rid of the stress, but for now at least you might be able to see things a little bit more clearly.
Oh yeah. Oh, it takes the edge off. I've had people, I've talked about going for a walk to process some of these chemicals before, and I've done this in like addiction treatment centers where people will be like, and that works as well as heroin? No. But it does start breaking down these chemicals. It does help. And if you are stressed and you go for a walk or you go to the gym or you eat a comfort food, you then come back to the stressor and you are going to be in a better position to accomplish a goal or finish a goal. But that is an important part, is the coming back. A lot of people, they check out or they binge. It goes from I'm going to have a little treat and then I'm going to get back to work to blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
Horking down so much food that now you're tired and you need to take a nap. I'm guilty of that one. I carry my stress in my stomach, if you can't tell by all of my food examples.
Well, that's why we put you from here to here. Just kidding.
Kidding.
You're in great shape, brother. All right, continuing.
The news and social media. But our brains are built to take fear very seriously. So if you experience even a short burst of anxiety over an email, or because you scrolled through Twitter, the helping hand of stress springs to action. You can have dozens of these micro-stressors per day, constantly activating your stress response, even if you barely notice anymore.
A sense of immediacy.
While these micro-threats stack up, we also have to deal with bigger stressors like unpaid overtime, angry clients, rising rents, inflation and healthcare, or tariffs and chaos, making our future more uncertain. But the boost
I got to do something about it now.
Be extremely
that's
helpful if you have to study for an exam, run a marathon, or complete a big project. It's a proper superpower and can feel exhilarating, even addictive. So many of us end up abusing it.
Yeah, you want to touch on that?
Oh well, so I work with a lot of people who are neurodiverse, maybe a little bit of ADHD. A lot of times that threshold for motivation is very high. And I'm not even talking about something that's urgent, like an upcoming, project or paper. It could be like just getting to a restaurant on time or taking a shower. But to motivate themselves, they apply pressure. They might start psyching themselves up. They might create that crisis so that they get the adrenaline, so that they manufacture that cortisol. And suddenly they're getting up, suddenly they're getting ready, suddenly they're on time or they're writing their paper. And they don't do this. This isn't an entirely conscious process, but if a little bit of it works, maybe let's try a lot more of it. We end up applying it too rigidly, or we start using it too often. Before we know it, it stops motivating us. It stops actually working and towards propelling us to accomplishing our goal. And it just becomes self-defeating. We are keying ourselves up. We are creating or manufacturing that loop of adrenaline and cortisol without getting the payoff, without getting the actual objectives met. And that's why a lot of people, after they reach adulthood with ADHD, even though their actual brain, which develops asymmetrically, around 25, most of the regions of the brain that take a little bit longer for the ADHD brain to develop does develop, and they're a lot more aligned with the non-ADHD brain than they were when they were younger. That carryover continues. That relationship with stress and anxiety comes over. So he talks about how it spikes. That gives that sense of urgency where we're maybe minding our own business and someone says, oh, you need to make sure that you're at dinner next Thursday at 7. Suddenly we spike and we go, oh no, I better do something about this now. I better write a to-do list. I better put it in my phone. I better make some alarms here. But we actually are creating an enormous amount of distress, and the dinner's not even until next week. So yeah, we can create this relationship with stress. We can use it with as an organization function, but then lose the actual organization function. That stress, the good stress that I was talking about earlier,
and that in turn becomes anxiety.
Oh, absolutely. It can also become depression because a lot of times that can be used. If we were to put language to it, it can be very critical, and it can be very self-deprecating. A lot of times people will apply pressure on themselves with language. They'll say, if you don't do this, you failed, or you suck, or you're bad in some way. So yeah, it can be worse than anxiety. It can turn into masochism.
Ooh, it's tough. Continuing.
Especially if you work in a competitive field, you may keep pushing and challenging yourselves and others, relying on stress to get your best performance possible.
In stress
the problem
episode.
Is that stress was
Watch our masochism and stress episode.
Short spurts and critical situations. If it's activated over days, weeks, and months with no release, it becomes chronic stress, one of the deadliest conditions for humans. How chronic stress destroys you. The price of chronic stress is the slow destruction of every part of your body and brain.
Oh yeah.
As the stress cascade is activated over and over, adrenaline and cortisol keep flooding your body.
We can measure it. We can measure it in
spit. Are overactivated, while your rest and digest functions are constantly suppressed. Your muscles tense up for a fight that never comes. Instead, your back, shoulders, and neck scream under the tension, and you get pounding headaches.
Oh, here's one that the video won't cover. And those watching, I know you're gonna apply to that. This is gonna apply to you. When your tongue is pressed upon the roof of your mouth. How many of you currently have your tongue pressed to the roof of your mouth while you're watching this? Don't lie to me. Put a comment in chat. I know some of y'all went, oh my gosh, I'm doing it. Yeah, right. Yeah. So this is a tiny one, but that is a stress response. What it does, I was talking about that light switch that you cannot be stressed and relaxed at the same time. Sometimes if you need just a little bit of a pick-me-up, you can manufacture this by pressing your tongue to the roof of your mouth. Now, is it going to give you like a huge rush of endorphins and, adrenaline and cortisol? No, but it is actually going to give you a little bit. So sometimes if you need that little bit of extra edge because you're too relaxed, press your tongue against the top of your mouth. But also vice versa. If you catch yourself and you're going, oh my gosh, I'm really stressed right now. What am I going to do? You actually do the opposite. You purposefully relax your shoulders, and it's going to feel awkward because you're going to have that urge to tense up. You're going to maybe relax your jaw a little bit, and you're going to purposefully put your tongue on the bottom of your mouth. Now, it's going to feel different because your body's trying to give you the signal to clench up. But if you relax your body, that is going to send a signal to your physical brain to flip the light switch. The threat is over. And I cannot oversimplify this enough, because you cannot, it is a paradox. You cannot be relaxed and stressed at the same time. If you need to key yourself up, there are things you can do to key yourself up. If you need to relax yourself, there are things you can do to relax yourself, and your brain will follow that. Your brain will follow your body. It's not very smart. It's part of your body. So like if you relax your shoulders, your brain will go, oh, things must be safe. Time to dump the relaxation hormones. Time to relax. Time to release the relaxation chemicals.
Is it bad that the tongue at the top of my mouth feels more natural than at the bottom? Is it just is just so used to it being there?
Pablo, you are one of the hardest working people I know. I would. I'm not a betting man, but I would guess that if I collected your spit in the morning and I collected your spit a little bit after, or maybe a little early afternoon, when cortisol spikes, you're probably going to be high average. You have a lot of pressures. There are people who are going to be very type A, like the very anal retentive, like we all know them. Like you can trust your passwords with these people. Like they get shit done. Very elevated. And that's what he's talking about when it gets to chronic stress. We actually see an increased baseline of these chemicals. So adrenaline is very short-lived, but cortisol, because that's more longer-lived, we can measure someone's approximate chronic stress levels. So yours probably is high average. When you get the people who have been under very chronic stressful conditions, and I don't just mean like they've seen combat, like you can see kids who grow up in like gang region. South side of Chicago would be a really great example. If we were to take some of their biometrics or measure some of these hormone or chemical levels, we're going to see a higher resting state of cortisol. I hope I'm making sense.
Oh yeah.
This is really getting into the weeds.
Yeah. Interesting, because
he talked about competitive people, and I know a lot, and I know that's a majority of my clients. Some of this audience are, insomniacs, hustlers, rogues. There does come that elevated or just higher than average amount. Like this engine burns hot.
Continuing.
Digestive tract cramps and suffers, either holding things
nice
in too long
poo.
or rushing things out.
Get me out of here!
Your fat metabolism is disrupted and starts slowing down fat breakdown, while increasing fat buildup in your belly area.
That's
your cells
important
become
for a lot
less
of the
responsive
diet
to insulin,
crowd.
increasing your risk of metabolic diseases. Your heart keeps pounding, eager to supply your body with fuel, but your blood vessels aren't built for this constant overactivation and get destroyed in the process, massively increasing your risk of a heart attack or stroke. Yeah. Your immune system gets weaker and stronger at the same time.
Cardiovascular, a lot of fitness. It's a protective factor against specifically that, not a cure-all, because unfortunately, I think there was like a famous guy in the 70s and the 80s who like wrote Walking magazine, and he died of a heart attack. I don't know his name, but like, but
yeah.
Well,
I knew someone. Actually, I worked for someone that was constantly chewing gum, and jokingly we said that he smells like stress and gum and menthol, stress and menthol. And this is a true story. He was just generally just a very stressed person. You could tell, and unfortunately, he had a close relative that passed away from a heart failure, from a heart disease. And when he went to the doctor told him, you have to relax. Like, you have to actively reduce your stress levels, because you're going to end up in the same fate as this other person. It's going to happen. Like, it's in your blood. It's congenial. It can happen. You're more, what is that word?
At risk.
More at risk of this than most people. So yeah, and so he was still very stressed, but he's chewed just gum constantly to alleviate that.
Well, I've been on Twitter making oral fixation jokes on how that is a soothing behavior, but I'm not going to pick on him on that regard. So we talk a lot about high achievers, high agency, competitive people, and I think that this is very relevant because people go, "Oh, why do they need therapy? They can just cry into a wad of $100 bills." Like, no, they're like. This is a huge issue. They could have personal chefs, personal trainers, but if they're really stressed, they're not going to lose weight, and their hair is going to fall out, and they're going to have trouble sleeping, and they're going to have heart palpitations. And I'm gonna pick on like the atypical Marine or Special Forces guy. They come to therapy and they're like, "What more do I need to do? Like, give me a plan, man. I'll work 24 hours a day to make sure that like I'll learn how to relax. I'm gonna put 110% effort into relaxation, man." And it's a paradox. Like, it's very hard to actually touch grass and slow down that heart rate or learn how to enjoy the moment.
Yeah. I mean, these are things that we actively have to work on.
Well, it kills people. I joke, but like your friend, like I can usually tell how many divorces someone has had or how many heart attacks they've had by how stoic their mentality is. They'll be like, "Oh no, bro, I'm an EMT. I've been working in the back of an ambulance for like 20 years, bro, and it doesn't phase me. It's fine." I'll be like, "Let me guess, 3 divorces. How did you know? I just got married on my fourth marriage." Like, it is almost predictable how much that kind of mentality that like, "No, just bear and grin it, man. I'm a man. We got to go forward." And it's like, yeah, that person had a heart attack in their 50s. Yeah, no, I had my first heart attack at 54. How did you know? It kills people.
Yeah. Careful. All right, continuing.
Time in a way that causes maximum damage to you. The parts that protect you from disease are suppressed because who cares about a cold if you have to fight a tiger? This increases your risk of infections, cancer, and autoimmune diseases.
Sometimes
Meanwhile,
within an
cells that
hour,
cause
within 1 hour of you using this fight or flight response, your body can be susceptible to infection, even viral infection. Like,
Wow.
you can, like, if you are panicking, if you have a panic attack, or if you are going through like a PTSD stress response and you are exposed to flu or common cold, you're more likely to get it. It's super messed up. Like, learning how to relax pays off. Like, learning how to just slow down your heart rate and relax your physical body as a skill, it pays off.
inflammation for wound healing are massively boosted, inflaming your tissue all over. Your brain gets rewired to serve stress. Perceiving an ongoing critical emergency, it slows down calm reflection and thinking, instead favoring quick and rapid reactions. You literally get worse at thinking clearly and lose wisdom points. You're much more likely to make
You lose
bad,
wisdom
impulsive
points. You get a
decisions
debuff.
like breaking up, eating junk food, or using drugs. You become worse at solving your problems while creating new ones. Under
We
chronic
can
stress,
predict
you're
those
simply
though. It's relationship breakdown, it's financial stress, it's losing a job. Those 3 are the biggest predictors of creating a spiral like this, where the world becomes antagonistic. It doesn't feel like safe. There's not a lot of, "Oh, I'll get another job," or I'll get married again and have more kids.
Yeah. Or become a chef. That's another one.
I'm going to become a chef.
These guys live on stress.
The most I think reliable measurement of an economic recession is how many people apply to law school. So yeah. Hold on a second. We have a comment on YouTube, but I don't quite understand it. Jim Fix. Do you see that comment? Do you know what he's saying?
Jim Fix. Yeah.
I don't get the reference.
Me neither.
Oh yeah, it's Jim Fix. Yeah, what is it? Hell if I know.
Elaborate.
Everyone knows that guy.
Elaborate, please.
Sorry, ADB 051248. If you could elaborate, I'd be happy to say more. But sorry, please continue the video.
You might know that fella as AD Briskin. Okay, continuing.
Like breaking up, eating junk food, or using drugs. You become worse at solving your problems while creating new ones. Under chronic stress, you're simply a worse version of yourself.
Oh, I know that guy.
Persists, your memory and cognitive abilities get worse as you slide into anxiety and depression. So your chances of getting out of a stressful situation in the modern world worsen the longer you're chronically stressed. A hellish, vicious circle. If you can't escape it, odds are that you may die earlier and suffer greatly along the way. How to use stress as intended. Stress can be your friend. In measured doses, acute stress enables you to conquer mountains and push beyond your comfort zone, helps you to improve your skills and grow as a person. And it can make it feel amazing to perform at your very best. But to get the good without the bad, it's critical that you properly wind down your fight or flight response and relax. Listen to your body. If you feel stressed, you are stressed, full stop. There's no universal threshold you have to reach before you're allowed to do something about it. Next, ask yourself, is your stress response productive in your situation, and is there an end in sight? If you're studying for exams or moving house, stress is a superpower, helping you unlock your full potential. But your health needs breaks from fight or flight mode, be it meeting friends, working out, or going for a walk in nature. Relaxation is not being lazy. This is serious self-care. If you relax actively and regularly, you'll keep stress from claiming a price on your body and mind and still be able to use its power. If you can't do this at the
I'm gonna use our inside joke about just the right amount of ism. But if you were to look at this like a standard bell curve, and on one end it's intensity of stress, and another one it's performance. There is a little bit of stress improves performance until you plateau. That's the eustress. That's the good stress. After that, you hit a plateau, and any ongoing stress actually decreases your performance. That's when you get into panic, or we get into distress, right? We're actually lowering our capacity to accomplish our goals. But you need to learn, if you're trying to manufacture or use this as a skill, which is what I think the voiceover is trying to get at, you need to learn how to both gas yourself up from like cold. You need to warm yourself up. But if you get beyond that line and you go into distress, you need to start cooling yourself off into that Goldilocks zone, into that sweet spot of eustress. Again, EU stress. So you need to lower your heart rate just enough to where you start getting productive again. But to kind of like my joke about the to-do list, you can relax so much that you start losing your productivity, in which case you need to get a little bit more stressed. But you need to get just the right amount of it. You can only go so long before you need to break, rest, relax, eat, replenish your salt, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, he's neglecting that you can also use it. You can also try to stress yourself out to be effective. But boy, is that I don't know, be careful with that skill. Be careful with getting to that Goldilocks zone, because too much of a good thing will take you out.
Well, as a chronic procrastinator, I can tell you I can tell you that if I want to do something and crush at it, I just have to wait to the very last minute. And then I get this fight or flight response, right? These mechanisms or these things that he's talking about. I can feel in my body, okay, it's time to nut up or shut up. If I don't do it right now, I'm screwed. Rock and roll. And it's very uncomfortable.
Well, we also remember the times where we made it, right? Like we somehow used that to our advantage. We created some of our best work. We turned it in like 2 minutes before the deadline. But there's also the times where we didn't. And those are kind of harder to remember, but we have to take a fearless moral inventory of ourselves and take a very honest look in the mirror. There are some times where we're like, all right, it's the day before, time to get work done. Oh no, what have I done? I have grossly underestimated how much work I have to do. And we end up getting into distress or despair, and it is not a force multiplier. It is not a motivator. It is a paralyzer. And that's the thing. Sometimes we don't get the closure, so we get a relief, or we almost get a comfort in our procrastination. That's okay. I'll be a last minute ranger and I'll crush it Sunday night. Playing with fire, playing with masochism.
Oh yeah, tell me about it. All right, here we go.
Moment, plan active relaxation time as soon as you can, without this stressing you out. Okay, but what if you suffer from constant unhelpful stress? You can't control your body's stress response, but you can influence it. As annoying as this is, mindfulness, like meditation or yoga, is scientifically proven to take the edge off stressful situations and to tell your brain that this email is not a deadly tiger.
Crochet.
But the single most effective way to remove stress from your life is to remove the stressor itself.
Is to get rid of cats.
Personal assistant
Cats are jerks.
And assess where tiny bursts of stress are coming from during your day. Do you feel stressed when you doom scroll? Social media doesn't show us what we want, but what makes us engage. And negative emotions make us engage the most. So
this is so true though. Social media, and I don't know how many people actually realize that a lot of the reasons why they live their lives in this doom and gloom is because they are constantly bombarded with doom and gloom. Mm-hmm. And some people will tell you, well, if you don't care, or if you don't know, then you're not informed, then what are you doing or whatever. And I need to keep watching these things because I just want to be informed what's happening. Yeah, but it's also doing an absolute number on you and putting all this stress at the end of the day, a lot of these things you can't really do anything about, right? So and just the fact that you're choosing maybe to not engage,
year especially.
Yeah. And just because you're choosing to not engage with these things for a few hours of your day doesn't mean that you don't care. Doesn't mean that you're going to just, let the world burn. But it means taking care of yourself.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's sometimes protective. Like if you create very rigid parameters. We tried to make this somewhat related to Thanksgiving. Politics usually comes up after the first few drinks in Thanksgiving, and being able to set those parameters of, oh, hey, that's okay, I'm not going to talk about any politicians today. That can be a way to protect against stress, because gosh, you get some uncles or some aunts a little bit too many martinis, and suddenly they're going to start saying they're going to start sharing their most out there political opinions.
Yeah. I have a friend that, regardless of where we go, always manages to bring politics into it, or ask, or even if the situation is completely unrelated, he goes, what do you think of this thing? Have you seen this thing? And
they're trying to make an emotional connection. This makes me feel, and I want you to see if you feel the same way I do.
And her husband,
I'm just trying to have a good time.
And her husband goes, no, cut it out. This is not what we're talking about right now. This is not the time. It happened to us while on a trip a couple of years ago, and it was like, no, this is not what we're talking about right now. We're talking about oysters.
So I'm gonna give a silver bullet therapy pro tip for Thanksgiving dinner for those who are still watching. Here's the silver bullet. I'm gonna make this investment worth your time. Everybody, absolutely everybody, has a fucking opinion, pardon my language, about politics. And if you go to Thanksgiving, it's possible that you're going to get the full spectrum, and some you're going to agree with. And so it may be easy to lock you into conversation. Some you're going to get that drunk racist uncle who probably has really weird political beliefs, and they're going to come after you very aggressively. It's actually not very helpful to argue with them. In fact, it's very useful to look for the value that's underneath the idea. very often the political disparity is on what we should do about an issue. But there's two sides to that coin. On the other side of the coin is I'm hurting somewhere, or I'm scared, or I'm afraid something might happen. Politically, if I were to get very overgeneral here, if I'm going to really overgeneralize here, Republicans really care about freedom, or they really care about liberty. Democrats really care about safety. So usually start kind of from there. So if someone starts giving really out there or extreme positions, start going, what freedom might I be able to connect with, or what value of safety might I be able to connect with? Because you can usually connect with that. I want to be safe. I also want to be free. I also don't want anybody to tell me what to do, right? So if they're coming up with some, bat crazy political idea,
it's got them hot takes.
Some hot takes, right? If they get some hot takes, you can usually connect with the value underneath them, and the intensity peters out. And then you don't have to get in an argument. And some of y'all are smarter than your drunk uncles, right? And then you win, but then you feel bad because you've made everybody at the table uncomfortable by defeating them in an argument. So I recommend,
really good tip.
Yeah. So I recommend connect with the value underneath the argument. You don't have to agree their approach or their idea how to fix things, but you can go, yeah, I also, I get it. Safety. That is kind of scary. I would like that kind of freedom.
Yeah, that's great advice. We got to clip that. All right. This video, we have 2 minutes. And then we'll close it out.
Yeah. The thing, we thought we were going to play a second video, but right. I'll try to be quiet for it.
To try.
Simply getting rid of the apps or unfollowing stressful people can actually remove a lot of stress from your life. Especially with the really big problems, removing the stressor is extremely effective. If you live in a dangerous neighborhood, move. If you're bullied at school,
good one.
See if you can change your environment.
Oh, you have an abusive
While
spouse?
This is
just
drastic
leave him.
Advice and may not be easy, it will have the biggest impact on your chronic stress levels. So think about what you can change in the midterm. Of course, there are situations where you can't just eliminate the stressor or meditate the chronic stress away. If your brain is stuck in stress mode for too long, it will get worse and worse at solving problems. You may not be able to think clearly to get out of your situation. In these cases, the most powerful move is to ask for help. Open up to friends or family, or get professional help. An extra pair of hands can make a huge difference. In the end, life will throw stressors your way. This is unavoidable. And that's okay. Stress is your superpower. Use it. But never forget to get to the other side of it. That's why we created a health journal. We've collected all the latest health science and
this is kind of neat.
To help you
now that you've watched our video,
buy our merchandise.
If you want to reduce stress, start with the
Okay, that does look like good merch.
Or dive into nutrition or physical fitness.
That's expense and paper stock. They tried hard on that.
And inspiration to get you started.
Yeah, that looks kind of cool.
But you can make it completely your own to fit your needs. In the end, you'll have built a custom health mix that works for you. We also made it as beautiful and fun as possible, as taking care of your health should always be. And you're not doing this alone. We'll check in from time to time, and we'd love to hear from you. Share your progress.
They actually do have some really good merch
on their health journey. After the gratitude journal and the habit journal, this is the third part in our best-selling journal series.
They probably have a good artist. That's probably their art style.
We've also created some exclusive health club merch for you. Wear them as companions.
Merch. Here, actually, I have this one. This is my latest acquisition.
Oh yeah, what's this?
It's their calendar for the year, the human era calendar.
It's these artists.
26. Yeah.
Cool.
Is their 12,026 human era calendar. Really nice. 10 out of 10 recommend. I love Kurzgesagt. This is a great video. I think the one on loneliness is also really cool.
We won't get to that today. Maybe next week.
Well, that'll be right in time for
Christmas.
For December and Christmas coming up.
A lot of people lonely around the holidays.
Yeah. So that comment, the gym fix, was from a friend of the pod, Al Briskin.
Oh yeah, Al.
We didn't recognize at first, but I'm gonna have to dig into this.
Yeah, I still don't get the Jim Fix reference. I'm gonna Google it, and it's gonna be some baby boomer reference. And Al, you're gonna make fun of me the next time you see me.
Yeah, but thank you for throwing it out there, Al. It gives it a good signal. And also another friend of the podcast, Diana Gabriela.
Yes, hello, Diana. Thank you.
Over to say hi.
Just saying hello.
Yeah,
thank you. We appreciate you.
Awesome. Well, that's the video. That's what I wanted to show you. Look, we actually made it right in time, and we still have a little bit of time to close it. And with thoughts, what are we thinking? How are we feeling?
Well,
do you like the video?
I love the video. I think it's a good visual representation, and they hit on all of the important beats. I think the big takeaway, if people take nothing from that video, is that the body is a biochemical machine, and when it is stressed, it dumps very specific chemicals and hormones that can physically degrade the body. Like it is by design to help us survive very short acute threats. But the things that stress us out post-industrial revolution aren't acute threats. It's every first of the month we have to pay our mortgage. It's every
well, in this season, and relevant to where we're going, is to what the season that we're going into, or that we are, is having enough money to buy presents for everybody, having enough money to travel to see everybody, and then maybe
surviving the travel itself, if it's cold, or the Planes, Trains, and Automobiles movie.
If you're married and or have a partner, is maybe deciding where to go and spend the holidays in stress, right? Why
do we rock, paper, scissors for whose parents' house you're going to visit?
Exactly. So there's a lot to think about, and there's things that are within our control and things that are not within our control. So it's just a reminder for everybody to breathe.
I want to jump on that, because the control is a very specific word, and I like to be very particular with my language. There are some things that we can influence, and that's why I really like painting that light switch of the central nervous system, or the metaphor of it being a light switch. You cannot be calm and relaxed at the same time. So if you find yourself keyed up, and again, this is biochemical, this is not a conscious process. You're not like, I'm going to choose to have tunnel vision. I'm going to choose for my hands to shake and for me to stutter as I'm trying to communicate stuff, right? That's not conscious. There is a chemical process. It is adrenaline. It is cortisol. And when that's coursing through your veins, and you can go, okay, what can I do to actually flip that light switch in the other direction, to send a signal to my brain that it's time to relax, and send all of the relaxation chemicals. The easiest and the freest and the least imposing thing you can do is to just slow down your breathing, to just slow it down as much as possible. Now, it's going to be very forceful, and it's going to be very deliberate, because your heart rate is still going to be pumping really quickly. But if you're slowing your breathing down, it tricks your brain. Your brain is going to think the saber-toothed tiger is gone, because why else are we slowing down? And it's going to stop dumping that adrenaline. It's going to stop producing that cortisol, or it's going to start breaking down that cortisol into some other chemicals. Going for a run, doing some push-ups, sex, orgasm, all things that you can do. You can also try to write it out. If that is a chemical process, they have a half-life. You can distract yourself, watch an episode of something on Netflix, 22 minutes, YouTube, watch an episode of the Living Well podcast with Dr. Perin and Pablo Madrigal, and just write it out, and then get back to what you're doing. Wait for your body to return to homeostasis, to get into that relaxed state. But if you force your body to posture, to be embodied as if you're relaxed, your brain is going to start sending the chemical relaxed, and vice versa. If you know that you can key yourself up, know that you can also relax yourself. I feel like I'm just repeating myself at this point, but I want people to feel equipped and empowered to know that you can influence this. You can't control it, but you can influence it.
No, it's great. I like closing with some actionable items that people can just take away. Just takeaways. Okay, at the end, what is it? How are we gonna close this? With okay, these are things that you can actually do to address whatever that we were talking on the episode. So in this case, stress.
I
love it. I don't think you can repeat yourself enough. People like to find that way people don't have to look for in the episode.
And blame me too. If you're really stressed, look to your partner and say, hey, I was watching this podcast. Dr. Perin said sex flips that light switch and releases the relaxation chemicals. So honey, help a brother out or help a sister out. Maybe
It's for science.
Oh, the doctor's orders.
Doctor's orders.
I do think this is probably a good time for us to wind down. Thank you all for joining us. I know we didn't have a lot kind of structured for this, but I think we had a lot of fun anyway. Thank you for coming in and saying hi. Thank you to the friends of the show. Thank you to Pablo. I guess take us home, Pablo.
Yeah, excellent. Yes. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. Reminder that we are streaming and broadcasting direct on X and YouTube every day, roughly around the same time, right? So 7 p.m. Eastern Standard. Actually, it's closer to 7:15 p.m. I should have changed.
Yeah, I was about to say we our countdown starts roughly Mondays at 7 p.m.
Yeah. So, but you already know. If you hit the subscribe button and the notifications, you'll know exactly when we turn it on. So that's another stressor out of your life. Okay. Thank you, Ed. Thank you, everybody, for listening, and everybody who threw notes in the chat. We'll see you next week.
Yeah. Bye, guys.
Oh, happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Oh, yeah. Happy Thanksgiving.
That's happening.
Gobble, gobble.
Okay.